to Bitch Sesh in DC.
This is such a nice welcome in my hometown. I'm so excited to be here.
Hello.
I'm Casey Wilson.
I'm Danielle Schneider.
And this is April Mouton.
Wow.
You guys, please sit and enjoy yourselves.
Guys,
Please.
I
am tired.
exhausted. That dance is 30 seconds long and I am gonna drop dead.
Took everything out of me that I have, all my life force.
We're 100.
I'm so impressed everyone is out here on a Sunday night. We can't thank you enough.
I love that our audience is like, fuck Game of Thrones. Thank you.
This is like a political statement against Game of Thrones tonight. And I'm
like,
sure we're all recording it, but...
No nerds.
No nerds, not here.
And no scrubs and no nerds.
I don't want any of them. Danielle.
Yes.
What are you wearing?
Thank you, Casey. I am wearing a kaftan by one Patricia Altschul, who is the grande dame of Southern charm.
And who's on your kaftan?
Oh, interesting that you noticed, Casey. I am wearing one of Lisa Vanderpump's fucked up mini horses, who is definitely by this time glue.
Their hooves are red vines.
Yes, delicious. Thank you, you delicious animals. They are named Diamonds or Rosé. Now, Casey, who are you wearing?
I am wearing a dog many times have wished dead. This is Kingsley. And Kingsley is a dog that I would have put down with my bare hands. And, you know, my kaftan was also hemmed way too short. And I hate it. And at 31 weeks pregnant, I don't like showing these ankles to anyone. But this isn't for me. This is for you.
And sadly, my kaftan is way too long. I look like I'm wearing my mommy's pajamas.
Yes. April. Now, April's also modeling a look. This is gorgeous. Now, these are puka shell tassels. This kaftan was seen last season on New York, worn by Bethany. When she told Luann, unfortunately, it was very much about Tom.
If you're going to ruin a woman's life, wear a colorful kaftan to distract her from the misery you're about to lay upon her.
I'll never forget Bethany crumpled up in that seat, like crying in that kaftan. They're great memories. Great memories of our lives.
Now, you may ask yourself, how much were these kaftans, Casey and Danielle? They don't look like they breathe, and you're right. Now, you may say to yourself, is it $10?
Coming back to you.
$15?
At the most, $65, you might say. $320. This should inspire outrage.
A piece.
I spent more on this than it took to fly here from Los Angeles.
This kaftan is taking food out of my daughter's mouth, and I said, you know what, I'm fine with that.
It's really upsetting.
Yes, and it smells so bad. If you could put your heads under our dresses and get a whiff, you would not be happy.
No one wants to see those long-ass pubes under there.
Guys, you know what? And they've grown back. It's not great.
Stop. Guys, we have been traveling. We've been in this is our 4th city in 4 days. And we had so much fun in Boston, and then we were in Philly where I got food poisoning.
At a little Italian restaurant, we decided to check out a local place.
A local joint in Philly called Maggiano's.
We said we want the taste of Philly. Tiny little hole in the wall.
I said, what do you recommend to the concierge?
And we went to Maggiano's, and you have paid dearly.
Oh, I've paid. Then we're in Atlanta.
Yes, which was lovely.
Yeah. We've had a great show. But before that, we went to Seattle and Portland. They were very sweet.
Yeah, we have to say East Coast, you're winning.
Yeah. Very well dressed.
Everyone comes dressed to the nines. Like
a lot of sundresses, a lot of very nice looks here.
Yeah. And I don't see a pair of like man and some reef sandals at all.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Birkenstocks, thank you.
Okay. He's a lesbian, that's a
Good to know.
Guys, I'm so happy to be here. There's so much to discuss.
Now, before we get into total deets.
Yes. From our trip, we were in the airport 2 days ago, and we saw a magazine on the racks that we need everyone to start reading. It's just as good as our beloved Daily Mail. It's just as informative, and it's just keeps you right up to date with young Hollywood.
Yeah, you know how you're on a plane, you just want to dig in, like, who's dating who?
You just want to get all the bad gossip magazines and just tear into them.
Yes.
And really know what's going on with, young Hollywood. And so we found a little magazine called Closer. Now, Closer is amazing, and I am obsessed with it. It looks exactly like an Us Weekly.
You might mistakenly pick it up and say, what's J-Lo doing
but
today?
It's for the elders and possibly for people who have passed away.
Yes. Our cover stars are two amazing American treasures who are dead. And much like The Wizard of Oz, it had to be colorized.
So then, if you want to know, we found some stories we just want to highlight for you. There's a big feud going on in Hollywood. Who is it, April? Olivia de Havilland. She's pissed at Ryan Murphy for doing Feud. 101, and she's still
101
fighting.
and not afraid to be a bitch. Now, I'm always looking for the latest diet trend, what to eat,
What
how to
cleanses
look
everyone on?
good. And this one comes from Joan Collins. Just want to know how she's keeping those brittle bones fit. As a fiddle.
Then we read about a cat fight. Two young Hollywood sluts, Sophia Loren and Elizabeth Taylor. They are pissed at each other.
Even in the grave, it's like,
throwing shade left and right.
Now, here's a hot new couple, and this guy has put it in everything. One, Smokey Robinson. Hot couple on town.
Hot couple alert. So
Stand by
seriously,
me.
I will be getting closer because it is actually the stories. It's like I always read More magazine.
Yeah.
R.I.P. It's like it's just these are the stories I care about.
Yeah, like their Kardashian, this magazine's Kardashian is Jane Seymour. They have her going to the market, going to her double AARP meetings. Like they have her like doing everything. I appreciate it.
Oh, guys.
Should we dig in?
Let's dig into We're gonna start with Orange County.
Thank God it's back, and this year it's glorious.
This is good. This is really good. Now, I'm noticing two people in the front row, Danielle. They're wearing shirts that epitomize the new seasons of OC's main storyline. And before I reveal you, so Shannon Bedore has a storyline this year that is so inspired, so fresh. Tennessee Williams, David Mamet, they could never have written a storyline so simple and pure as simply fat.
It's true, because like in other seasons, we've had like confusing storylines like, is my boyfriend faking cancer? Or is my husband cheating on me? It gets to my head, but when you just simply say fat, I'm like, I know what that is.
She's like, I've gained weight, which is very relatable to all of us. And then she says, and it's your fault. To another friend. So please stand up and reveal. They are wearing t-shirts that say, Vicky made me fat. What? Vicky made me fat is so good because I want to start blaming people in this room for making me fat.
Wow.
A pregnancy size. Thank you, guys.
Gorgeous. And what do you have for me? And they have given me renovation. Because I don't have motivation, I have renovation.
Thank you, guys. This is inspiring.
Gorgeous.
I got inspiring work.
Yeah.
Now, we're going to jump into Orange County, but before we start, we want to introduce our boots on the ground microphone, which is right here.
Now,
if you do come up, and I hate to say this, can you kind of maybe hang down or just kind of crouch in the aisle? And I hate to say it, but just so people can see. And as you're lining up, just hear our words here. Ask yourself, is this short enough? Is this funny enough?
You guys listen to the podcast. Say to yourself, do I like when those podcast ones are short or long? And I think you know the answer. Yeah. Hey guys, this line that's starting, and I hate to even ask you this, but I just want to make sure everyone can see. If there's a way you can crouch down just to make everyone see. Thank you.
That's why I went first.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi, ladies. I'm a big fan of the show.
Thank you.
I have a story about one Miss Dorinda Medley.
Oh,
Quick,
all right.
great.
Last year, my cousin and I had a day in New York City. We walked onto a subway platform and saw Dorinda standing there.
Probably because her daughter is bleeding her.
So I see her, and next thing I know, I'm standing next to her, as you do.
Yes.
So we said to her, we're so surprised to see you on the subway. It seems like all the housewives have cars and drivers.
I'm sure she loved that.
She's like, John is bleeding me dry.
And she said to me, I'm a real New Yorker. I take the subway every day.
Clip.
Yes.
Clip.
God
Clip.
bless.
Thank you.
She made it nice. She made it nice.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Hi, sir. You can pull that mic up if you can, or just hold it close to your. There you go.
There it is, right
There
there.
it is.
Oh, hello, everybody.
Mic technique.
Hi there. So,
Addressing the room.
Yes. Someone is feeling this moment.
Are you?
No.
Are you?
All of us.
So,
No, I'm
listen,
kidding. Hi.
Listen. So I'm a local DC person. Hello, you right here, yeah. My brother, my older straight brother, works at a well-known social media site called, it rhymes with Facebook. Yeah.
I was like, okay.
They have a live division.
Okay.
I was there visiting like a casual weekend. Facebook Live happened. Caroline Stansbury
Oh, of course.
was
Ooh,
the
Ladies of
guest.
London.
Ladies of London, if you're not aware. Caroline Stansbury arrived. I was there. It was like 7:55 a.m. visiting my older brother. Caroline was supposed to arrive around 8:55 a.m. She rolls in at 8:65 a.m. Asks for a large goblet. No, that means noon. Asked for a large goblet.
She was on London time.
Yes. She said, I was on a red eye the entire evening. She said that she broke her foot on the plane somehow. Asked for a goblet of white wine. At New York time was 8:07 a.m. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And said, can I get a goblet of white wine? I broke my foot on the plane. I can't barely stand. I brought her some cheap, like, Facebook white wine. Mm-hmm. And she went, oh, do you have, like, champagne? No champagne. And she said, well, we have to do this show. I'm sorry, we're late. And she left. Just walked out.
Because you didn't have champagne?
Champagne.
So she just didn't do her Facebook Live chat?
She complained about being late because she was late.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Went on for 2 minutes and said, we have to go.
Wow.
Wow, thank you.
Bold,
Wow.
thank you.
Yeah,
We're
no,
gonna get to you in
we'll
one
get to you in a
sec.
second. No.
Guys, Orange County.
Wow, this has been a season and it started off dark already. We were treated to a scene that said it was about something that I don't think it was about.
There was a devastating opening scene this week. Mm-hmm. Claimed to be about quinoa.
But really it was about a relationship. If you substituted the word quinoa for our love, I think it would have been just about right. And it started off like this, where Shannon said, hi, do you like my quinoa? And David, in his male gymnast voice, said, it's just quinoa. I mean, it's not a steak or anything. And Shannon cracked wide open. But I think if you had just replaced the words with, do you love me? And David would say, I mean, you're just you. You're not something great. And I don't like to say that, but it's the truth.
It was a devastating scene. And I think we've seen that David and Shannon's marriage, we've obviously all been with them through so much. And But I've never seen him, even when we saw the scene of them in marriage counseling when he was praying over her fake dead grave. I felt he was more present to her. Now, if you've ever been with someone or an animal when they've passed, and you know the moment when your eyes go from alive to flicker to dead, David is crossed over. And he's no longer with us, unfortunately. So we're watching a man who is past.
He's a corpse. And it's not fun to watch, but we're going to see him slowly just disintegrate in front of ourselves.
And I don't know why Megan King Edmonds is back, but she is. And I'd like to read a quote from her that made me want to honestly commit murder. She said this: I was alone in my house and I just held my middle finger up to the screen, alone. She said, and I quote, "It's been really easy to lose the pregnancy weight. Thank you, genetics. Thank you, breastfeeding. Thank you, God."
Now, I don't like Megan King Edmonds, but I have found myself turning a 180 on a little Mr. Jim Edmonds. Guys, I'm serious. No, stop it. Because, no, listen to me. He has turned around, watching him with that little Aspen, that terribly named Aspen, in his arms, changing her diaper. Something about seeing him take care of another life like he didn't with his other children it's doing something to my body I haven't felt in a long time.
And I told you this, but I have likened him to when you cook bacon and all the fat is in the pan and you have to dump it in a coffee can, and that to me is his shimmering face.
I have to say that's my favorite part of the bacon. So, cheers.
Now, Lydia is inexplicably back. Can't they transplant people to OC? Why are we going back to that well?
And look, she's waving those skinny arms around like she's one of those balloon things in front of a car dealership. And this comes from a woman who has those skinny arms, okay? I understand it, but we need to keep them at our sides. And I have learned to do that, and so should she. Don't make any big motions.
And Lydia, what I hated about her last time is thankfully still true about her, which is her humor. And she and Kelly Dodd have this in common, where she did it in a testimonial in one of the promos. She's like, mayor of crazy town, party of one. Like, please get someone else to write this for you like Carol does. And Kelly Dodd went over to Vicky's office and made a Trump apprentice joke. She's like, she saw a conference here, and she's like, you're fired. It's just so crazy.
And we've also been introduced to a new character named Steve Lodge, who is Roger Lodge's brother. If you remember Roger Lodge from Blind Date, he is now dating Vicky, Steve Lodge. And I don't think Vicky likes him very much.
He seems so nice. Vicky wants nothing. I think she likes him, but I think she misses Brooks.
Yeah, and here's something I say with regret. I think she loved Brooks, and I think Brooks could fuck. And I don't say that lightly, but you can see it in her eyes.
I think you should say that lightly.
Look, he's not named Girth Brooks for nothing.
And when she and Steve were having that little salad with those 4 sad shrimps on it, and she was like, I wish life could be like this every night. I was like, oh, Vicky.
The nicest thing that she could say about him was, I always know what he's up to.
Kelly's back. I like Kelly. She's bringing us, I think this will probably be, I would imagine she has 2 more seasons after this, and then she tips that point of she's just way too crazy and they have to get her off. Brandy style, exactly.
Her bosoms are as gorgeous as ever.
It's a heavy bosom, but
They work.
I don't mind. I mean, Kelly's so crazy, and we also, of course, again saw her mother.
Now her mother has gotten a new haircut.
I think her mother has given herself a new haircut. in a manic fit with a ciggy. Like crazed one day, and they were like, should we lock her up? And they're like, just pretend it's normal.
I thought it was a nice choppy lob. I enjoyed it.
Poor Kelly's mom is a bit road hard, put up wet.
Yeah. I think she's just been in the sun a lot. She looks tanned like a hide, you know, like a purse.
Look, I don't feel good about anything that we're saying here. I don't. As I say it, I'm like, I feel bad.
I know, but you know what we're doing, which is good. We're talking about people behind their back as God intended, and not to their faces.
No.
Because if we don't spit out the venom, it kills us. And I think it's healthy.
Hi, you have something.
Oh, hi. Yeah. So I'll keep it brief.
I appreciate that you're staying in your crouch.
It feels good down here in a weird
Really?
way. Yeah. No, I'll come on. All right. So my friend, she owns a boutique in LBI, New Jersey.
Okay.
And so So last summer when Trey was in jail, who walks in but Gia? In nothing but a bikini with the air of a much older gal. And she was buying things with Joe Dugice's credit card. So she was initially afraid that like it wouldn't go through, the purchases. So to break the ice, my friend says, oh, I like your bracelets, to Gia. And Gia said, thanks so much, my mom made them, like last week in jail. And they were like sleepaway camp. I know it's hard. I feel bad.
Some of these are darker tales, and that's okay.
Some of these are darker updates.
But you know, Trey was doing what she could.
Yeah.
So.
Trey was doing what she could. Shay was doing her best.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're so welcome.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Now, speaking of doing her best, 1 second, we're going to get to you. We wanted to give you guys an update, and as it pertains to OC, which is our dear friend June Diane Raphael, who we would have brought here, but we're not going to pay to fly anyone out.
No, we had to pay for these $300 caftans.
As a lot of you know, she has stood by Vicky, her favorite character on the OC, the kind of OG of this franchise, through thick and thin.
Yeah, she has been on Vicky's side when Vicky said, oh, yes, my boyfriend has cancer, when he didn't. She has been on Vicky's side when she's like, yes, I'm going to make my daughter pump gas even though she's dying. Like, she has held true.
When Vicky screamed at Tama, you're my sister, show sister! I honestly came to a 5. Vicky was at a 10 there. My range does not go there, where Vicky went. But finally, June said I can no longer be on Vicky's side when Vicky came out against Donald Trump.
For Donald Trump.
But guys, you know when you break up with someone, sometimes there's people you know are bad for you, but it's hard to say goodbye.
Sometimes you just can't quit them. Guys, I know that I was harder on Eileen than everyone, but when I heard that she was no longer with us, I gasped. And my husband said, who died? And I said, Eileen. And he was like, you need to get a life. And I said, you need to get a life.
Hi there.
Hey,
Hi.
love your podcast.
Thank you.
So my boots on the ground is about a Mrs. Cameron Wimberly from Southern Charm. So I grew up in the town next to the town that Cameron grew up in, and Clemson. And she went to Real World, and when she came back, she was somewhat of a local celeb. So
I know how she feels.
yes.
I don't.
Me either. So we had some mutual friends, and one of our mutual friends told me that while she was out getting hammered, she got on all fours and said, this is how I get my asshole waxed. In the middle of the bar.
Thank you.
Sorry,
you.
I'm a little drunk.
No, it's great.
We went to Oz and chatted with Ashley's brother for a little bit.
We're taking this right now.
Thank you.
Do you remember Zach from Potomac, Ashley's brother, where they had the serious conversation? No. Anyways, we were at Potomac, and he bought us green tea shots all night. That's why we're drunk. It's his fault.
Oh, so that's not your story, though.
No, that is my story.
I love it.
Hey.
That's
Perfect. It's perfect.
Boots on the ground come in
story.
many different different
Back
forms.
in Seattle.
You do have another one.
I got one more. I know I'm dumb. Don't put
Okay.
me on the podcast.
Okay, go ahead.
Back in the day in Seattle, our rugby team was having a little banquet. Vicky was there selling her book. My friend had a lip piercing. She came up to her and said, "If you were my fucking daughter, I'd take you off my will. You better get that fucking thing out of your lip." That is a direct quote.
I love it.
God bless you. Thank you.
That's all I got. That's all I got.
Oh,
Wow.
Vicky never disappoints.
It's like that tracks perfectly. Hi. So sorry the audience is scooting up on their knees.
I know. This is not what.
It's not what I would want in a perfect world.
It's not much of a difference.
But
when
you
I
look
stand.
great.
Thank
Hi.
you. Hi. Okay, so I'm from St. Louis, and I flew here. to be here.
You flew here? Why? No, you're so sweet to do that. Thank you.
So I have a little bit of boots on the ground, and I guess we can call them baby boots.
Okay.
Right?
Oh.
Yeah. On how Mr. Jim Edmonds got into candles.
Oh.
Oh no.
Everyone is so intrigued by that sentence. I'm like, oh, all of a sudden, I'm like, how did he get into candles?
So you guys are familiar with Jimmy's candles, right?
Of course.
Okay.
Yes.
I just don't want to escape.
You
that.
mean the ones burning brightly in my home? Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So evidently, the business was owned by somebody in St. Louis privately and then purchased by a company that was entrepreneurial, blah, 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 blah. And that happens to be Jimmy's neighbor. So if you can imagine, one day Jimmy's like smelling something and like goes over to the house and gets into the candle business overnight.
Wow.
So I brought you guys a gift from
Whatever
the
is
flagship
this?
store.
Wow. From the flagship. Oh, you're so sweet.
Yes.
Thank you. We don't want any from the franchise. We want the flagship.
The flagship. And when I was
Thank
in
you.
there, I was like, tell me something to tell these women about Jimmy. And they said, the thing about Jimmy is he tries to turn everything into a candle.
I want that on my grave.
So if you could put some wax in it, Jimmy's gonna stick a wick in it.
God bless you.
Wow. Thank you for your service.
You're very
Thank you
cute,
for your
and thank you
service.
for flying all that way.
Thank you
Very
for your
sweet
service.
of you. Hi.
May I?
Yeah, you may.
This is even worse. Now they're leaning and saying, now they're on the ground saying, may I? Not what we want.
I'll make it real snappy.
Do you mind just holding that mic up a little closer?
Yeah. First of all, I would like to say that I know Southern Charm has lost its bop-a-doo, as we could tell from previous stories. Anyway, so last October I was in a wedding, and the bachelorette party was down in Charleston, South Carolina. And
Just want to say a lot of boots on the ground start this way.
And I want to say to you, please don't say you slept with Shep.
Not a joke. At the last show, Danielle, we were joking. We're like, has anyone here slept with Shep? And of course, a blonde-haired hand went up.
We
In
have
the back,
never
she was
not
like-
been at a show where someone has slept with Shep.
Everywhere I go,
listen,
someone's
I'm
like,
a
slept with
teacup,
him.
short and stout, so I'm not his type. So
God bless.
I know.
But you are Candy's type. You are Candy's type.
And
You know what Candy would
is
do.
my type. You know what?
Oh, that is really funny. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was like sitting here and I was like, I'll make this really short, but it's turned into
It's okay.
much more. Anyway, so bachelorette party, Charleston. I walk into a mellow mushroom. Do we know what a mellow mushroom
I do.
is
I'm
in
from-
here?
I'm from Atlanta. I know.
And the only reason I felt this was worthy of you is because of the caftan you were wearing is by,
Patricia Auschel.
and who do I see there?
Patricia Auschel?
I do. Can I, one guess?
With her
Her
manager?
butler, Michael.
Is he blowing on the pizza for her?
No, they're enjoying it equally. And
Can you hold the mic just
I'm
on the
so
bottom?
sorry.
Yeah, right up. There you go.
my voice is disturbing, so I don't like to share with people.
You're great. Love it.
You're doing so good. You're doing so good. Anyway, so we go to so we walk up to her, and, you know, we're like, oh, you have a book out, and she's like, yes, go buy it. Not exactly like that, but that's how it felt, and I did go buy it. Haven't read it yet, but it's in the repertoire. Like, it's gonna happen. Anyway, and I asked her what she's drinking because, you know, she likes her drinks in a very particular way. But she was drinking a Yingling Light. So, it's fine. But anyway. But anyway, Patricia was on a mellow mushroom, and I just felt like that was crazy.
You're adorable. Thank you.
Thank you.
I would also just like to point out that this is my roommate and my best friend, and I do feel like she bears a very similar resemblance to one Casey Wilson.
Yeah.
To the point where last night we went out in Alexandria, Virginia, and I told everybody, because we were coming here tonight, that you guys were cousins because you're from Alexandria.
And I'm sure that got you nothing.
No, in fact, once we threw a few references out, like happy endings.
I have to say, a lot of people send me tweets and say, like, my cousin looks just like you. And this is the one exception to this rule because you are a gorgeous girl and I would be very lucky to look like you. But I have gotten some juizaroos to where I have to, like, look in the mirror and say, like, is this what I look like?
Honestly, we were just sitting on the floor talking to your father, and we were like, sir, please come hang with us at Murphy's. And
I'm sure he will.
He was
Thank
like,
you.
I'm trying to hear my daughter, so zip in.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, that was not true. But love you guys.
Okay, we're gonna do one more and then we'll take a break and
Talk to New York. Not break, but we'll talk to New York.
Hi.
Hi, I have a little bit more Baba news.
Great.
Oh, sure.
Reference to the Charleston. So my friend works for the courts in Charleston.
Oh boy. That court system is loaded down with that Southern Charm cast.
And during Catherine and Thomas's first hearing for child support,
Guys, buckle in.
they were told everything could be done through mediators and no lawyers be involved if both of them shut down their social media. Thomas said yes. Catherine said no.
Oh.
So that's why they had to do the
She had
broadcast.
to get those photos up of her and her daughter. Wow, thank you for that disturbing update.
Now, not to skip around, but we would like to get into New York because there are 2 weeks of New York that we haven't gotten to yet, and a lot has happened in those 2 weeks, and yet nothing at all.
It's like, guys, get to Mexico already. I'm sick of seeing you packing, and I don't like my housewives in cold climates.
Though I do enjoy them in the Berkshires for like 17 days, where they're going stir crazy and it turns into The Shining. Love me some Berkshires.
So they've been in Vermont, right? That's where they were. Mm-hmm. And speaking of skinny girl deli meat, I've just had a bit of enough of the product placement with the skinny girl snowboard. Please.
I am excited to see them in Mexico. And Sonia said the funniest thing. She's like, yeah, Bethany invited me to Mexico. She just said, hey, come to Mexico. And I was like, sure, chimichangas.
Bethany's in such a weird place where I guess she always has Carol, but now her friends, the only people she has are like Sonia and Luann. Luann is a big-hearted woman, given everything that's happened last year. I see her like counseling Bethany when she's in a fight with Ramona. She's like, it's okay. She's just brush it off. It's like, this woman told you that your fiance was cheating on you before your wedding.
This woman literally said to you, you fuck everything.
And now they're palling around like it's
soul
nothing.
Soul sisters. Sonia's also said the most Sonia thing that has ever been uttered on the show, which was, I'm allergic to Harry Dubin's sperm. And I was like, no, Sonia, you're not allergic to any sperm.
Ramona, it just continues to be Ramona. It feels like an evolution. Like the more it's just, we're getting even more Ramona. The ponytail, I don't know if it's what it's doing to her, but with that ski instructor, I mean, it doesn't even do to talk about it. There's nothing new, but she's saying, even for her, very weird things. Like, at one point, she's like, I thought the snow would be like icy, micey, wicey, dicey. What?
Those are not words.
She's not well.
And then Bethany literally says to her, I don't want you coming to Mexico. And Ramona's like, I'm coming.
Because Ramona doesn't give a fuck. She's like, we're not gonna pretend that Bethany's taking us on this trip. This is your promotional trip, but the producers are paying and I'll be there. But Bethany's still trying to play by the rules of the show, like, I didn't invite you. And Ramona's like, I'll be there, I don't care. She's like, and Bethany's like, ugh. It's amazing. I'm very excited for this. Although I hope the tequila has more tequila than the actual skinny girl tequila in Mexico, which is very little.
Yeah, we're gonna see Dorinda get drunk. Don't you worry.
Guys, Dorinda.
No.
What happened there with the straw?
Yeah, she just couldn't get. She was like
that straw.
trying to get
That
it in her
straw
mouth.
is the voice of reason on this show.
Yeah, now she is, and
I love Dorinda.
I love her more than any character in a long time. I do, but she is.
But I'm worried.
Me too. She is, for better or worse, an alcoholic. And I don't.
I'm not trying to set us up to laugh at this, but she's getting, guys.
Something's wrong. She twice in a row, 2 vacations in a row, forgot her clothing.
Forgot her luggage, and isn't bothered by it. She's like, oh, you know what? I did it again.
And she's like, where is my mind?
And do you know in the promo for next week, what's happening when she's going into tones, like whale tones. I'm worried, and I'm excited, but worried.
And she is the only normal person on the show. Like, she is the voice of reason. She's who I need to touch down on when everything else has gone to shit. I'm like, well, at least Dorinda's okay, even if she's wasted. Now, there was the saddest thing I've ever seen on the show this week, and that was Tinsley Mortimer on a date. I know, I need to give it a moment.
That poor guy. He seemed, they kept cutting to him with genuine reactions because she kept talking about her ex-husband and just vomiting this information to him. And he was like, oh.
And she looked so awkward, like she didn't know how to date. It was like, when you see an animal and they're given a job. Like you'll see like a monkey and they're like bartending, for like promotional or something like that. And you're like, that's cruel. But I'm laughing. And that's what watching Dorinda date is like. She's just a monkey with a whiskey shooter. She's just like, I don't know what I'm doing.
I wish that Kelly Dodd's mom would come and give Tinsley a haircut. It just needs to come up a few. It must. She is infantile with those tights and those bows.
I know.
It truly is. She's got Arrested Development. I think Dale needs to come in on the scene.
And then at one point, she just literally puts her mouth on that guy in a way that it wasn't like going in for a kiss. It was just like her mouth floated onto his mouth. That guy was sexually harassed.
I feel for her. It's a tough
I feel
one.
things for her, yeah.
Hi. Come on
I'm sorry we have to get you up.
No, it's great. So, first of all, I have to say that you guys are gorgeous.
Shut your mouth. We've been traveling.
We should have
You
done
look
hair and
great.
makeup for the show professionally, we realized after the fact.
You can get Bethany's to do it.
This was us. I know, hard to believe. We did this.
I also want to thank you guys for introducing those of us who have partook. Heidi Rose Robbins.
Oh!
Wow!
She's a soothsayer. She's in my squad now. Like, she's amazing. The astrologer, guys.
This is our astrologer.
Yeah.
That
Everybody
As one
has
has,
one, right?
yes.
Everybody has one, and this is our astrologer that we've spoken about on the podcast before. And I just want to say one thing. So we spoke about her. So many people that listen to the podcast called, and she said, I don't know if this is true for you. She's like, it's crazy how much Scorpio is in all your listeners' charts.
We did talk about that.
And that sounds nothing like Heidi, but she's like, your listeners all have Scorpio in their charts, and she's like, and I think there's something to that. I was like, oh, okay.
She
Go
said
on.
Scorpio and Capricorn.
Yes.
Oh, I am a Capricorn. It's
Yeah.
true.
Scorpio. Go on.
So I'm a Vicky's son, so everybody knows. So I wanted to tell y'all that last year, it gets deeper than this, but last year I had my appendix out. And my incision was not healing very well. I was not feeling great.
Listening.
I can bring my chart.
Turned on.
Right. So I decided to telephone my good friend, Phaedra Parks.
What? Esquire?
Wait, what?
Esquire.
What?
Yeah.
Go on.
So I'm a fundraiser, and I met Phaedra along the way through events through Atlanta.
Oh, she's always raising funds.
And she's given funds, too.
Really?
Yeah.
Good to hear that.
Yeah.
First time I've ever heard that.
So she's building a new house, actually. And so I called her and said, listen, my incision isn't healing great. What am I going to do? And she goes, everybody knows that all you need to heal an incision is a good black tea bath. And I said, well, what do you mean? She goes, well, after I had Aiden and, I was sagging and backing a little bit, I just went to the grocery store and got me some Lipton black tea bags and took a bath. She put the tea bags in the bathtub.
I believe it.
She said it sucks everything up.
For you.
I'll be doing
Right.
it. And she looks amazing.
So that's my tip for you. And it's also great to see Paul Wilson in the audience.
There he is. There he is.
A fellow consultant.
I don't know how my dad has made himself known to the audience already.
He's already gotten around.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. You're so sweet. Guys, speaking of Paul Wilson, we were going to reveal him, but
he has been revealed.
He has been revealed, and we wanted to bring a guest that we hoped would inspire. And so please welcome our guest, my father, Paul Wilson.
Wow. Wow, Paul Wilson! Please
Wow,
sit
what an
with
honor,
us.
what an honor, and a privilege to have you on stage with us.
Yeah. Now, we've spoken about you a lot on the podcast, Paul, and we have told many a story. And you are a guy that likes to live on the edge. For sure.
You're a guy, I would say obviously a hero to me, and you're a lovely man and beloved by all, but you have your eccentricities, I would say, as we all do. And so first, we just wanted to run through a few kind of things you've done and said and let you weigh in on them and perhaps tell us your thought process if there was one.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to just say at the beginning of this that you run your own business and you're a man, you're a human on earth.
You've raised 2 children and done a beautiful job of it.
Yes.
Successful business.
Now, first I want to and we've talked about this before, but pull up your Twitter. Now, my brother and I, before you pull it up, Abe, my brother and I realized about 3 months into my father tweeting that he had a Twitter account. And I wish we could get those 3 months back because what we realized is that you were tweeting what you thought you were texting to people. So let's pull up one page of it, April.
Now,
so one just simply says dinner. But maybe that was a tweet. I didn't know if that was like your...
I'm at dinner.
Kind of conceptual tweet.
Now, I have a question about the first tweet. It says, at Casey Rose Wilson, a mistake. And I want to know, was that a statement about at Casey Rose Wilson?
Was that about me being born? I don't know. And April, what's the next set of them? These are some other ones. Are you concerned?
That one is ominous. It just says, are you concerned?
Yes, I am concerned.
All concerned.
Now,
Why are we concerned should we be?
I'm busy for 40 minutes. But you also had one that we got you to delete, which we walked you through deleting it. It just said, call me, and your cell phone. Now, do you tweet as much nowadays?
Not as much. I've learned that maybe that's not my best method of expression.
Not your best medium, perhaps.
No, I wouldn't say so.
Now,
yeah.
I would like to talk to you about something. Now, you recently did something, and you've cut your hair since, but you got a perm. You decided you said, you know what's hot right now? A perm. And so I think we have a picture.
Well, yeah, this is about 8 years ago, right? You had much longer hair, and tell us who, this is not a joke, who you were inspired by to get this hairdo.
Well, I walked in and my hairdresser is here, Terry.
Terry?
Yeah, Terry, stand up, please.
No, Terry's not proud of this work. Terry had asked to remain anonymous, but then I told her it was no use, and we were gonna call her out.
And so I held up a $20 bill and said, make me look like this.
Andrew Jackson. Andrew Jackson has that kind of flowy...
Wavy
Andrew Jackson,
hair.
murderer of Native Americans.
And how did it turn out?
It took 3 of them working.
What?
Yes, she gathered around 3 people. And
It was very like flowy and it had like one corkscrew curl kind of in the front.
A nice wave. It turned out very well. Lasted for about 6 months.
You know, when you get a phone call, I just received just that text message. I was like, should I call the police? I thought it was a cry for help. And I think it was. Now, I also wanted to talk about a special gift that you gave me for Christmas 2 years ago, which I received a piece of twine under the Christmas tree, and some family friends are here now and they can attest to this. Just a piece of twine that my husband and I had to follow around the house, up, through the house, up the stairs to this closet where you had a 6 foot tall by 4 feet, so that's very tall, taller than me, a portrait commissioned of yourself for me. April, can we...
Now, Paul, I do love this picture. I've seen it live in Casey's house, and it is something to behold. It is the centerpiece of many a party.
Now, what were you thinking with this one?
Well, I went to an auction for preschools, and I saw a offer by a photographer for $1,000, and so I bid $200 and won it. And so I go out to the guy, and I go, I'm claiming my prize. And I said, it's $1,000. He said, no, that's $1,000 off. So I paid thousands and thousands and thousands.
Not thousands, but he paid more than $1,000 for that. And it's pretty remarkable. And now you are wearing in this what was your signature mustard-colored blazer. And we brought it today. We just love to see you throw it on.
We want to see this pose. We want to see this.
You look like a president of TJ Maxx.
Yeah. Wow.
Very stately.
I like the hand in the pocket.
Gorgeous. And I'm sure I did give them at my wedding to everyone on a keychain so they could have it. And it's a treasured gift.
I do think we should make postcards and then just write Bitch Sesh. This picture. We'll commission you, of course.
Now, Dad, the last thing we wanted to bring up.
Casey received a text message. You are a man who takes chances. And Casey received an ominous text message from you the other day. And she sent it to me and she's like, what am I to make of this? And so here it was. It says, a new best for boarding a closed flight with the security door locked. Had to use new and innovative techniques.
Now, you are a man who's never one time been anywhere near on time for a flight. We talked about on the podcast, if you're in danger of missing an important meeting, my father will literally leave the car parked in a post 9/11 world out front of Reagan, knowing that they will tow it rather than miss a meeting. Because he says he, quote, knows where the car will be.
That's only $150 in fines, and you get your car.
Rather than
if the meeting's important.
Easy peasy, mac and cheesy.
Now, will you just quickly tell the story? These are the types of things that happen to you all the time. What you did when you were running 45 minutes late and you realized you forgot your wallet.
So you all know the Beltway. There was an accident. It was 5:30 in the morning. It cost me 45 minutes. I'm going up to Baltimore. So I get in the parking garage. I am 2.5 city blocks from the terminal. I run as fast as I can. I get to the TSA, security line, and there's 50 people, usually there's 3, in the TSA line. I go, oh my God. I start to each person, sorry, wreck on the Beltway, wreck on the Beltway. I get all the way up front, 3 little kids and a grandmother. Out of my way, I go around them. I dash through security. I was carrying my dress shoes. I had my running shoes. I lost them. I didn't care. Out to the gate, I get there, and I miss it. 2 minutes late. That 10 minutes before the flight, you gotta be there. They had locked the door. I plead with the agent. I'm just trying to make a living. No luck. I go to the ticket counter guy, who's right there. I said, look, I'm just trying. There was an accident. Yeah, there's always an accident. You missed the flight, and I've canceled your reservation. And so it's as dark as I can imagine. All of my tricks gone. And so I'm standing there, and all of a sudden the security door, the plane door opens, the gangway door opens, and a gorgeous flight attendant comes out pulling 2 bags. And then all of a sudden, the pilot comes out to talk to her. And so I run up to him and say, hey, I thought you were, trying to take off, and you're out here talking to her. What's the deal? I should be able to go on with you if you're out here. He goes, okay.
And he let you go.
And he let me go.
Beautiful.
Wow. Happy ending.
It was.
Happy ending indeed. Now, the last thing we wanted to do is we spoke on the podcast before. When I was on Saturday Night Live about a long time ago, Dad felt, as any parent might feel, he wanted me to be in more sketches, and so he did what anyone would do, which is sit down and write his own sketch for me to be in. Now, I do need to set this scene because it's emotionally quite complex, but it will pay off. So my mom had passed away very unexpectedly the year before. Dad was in a state, this is around the same time he got a perm. And I think we were all in a bit of a haze. And my dad had been about a year, and he had started dating again. And I had told him, I believe when you told me this news, I was driving, and I don't quote me, but I think I said something like, if you're dating again, I will drive off this bridge and kill myself. No, I said it lightheartedly, but we were in a spot together. So I get a sketch written for me for SNL. Now, this is the unusual thing. On Saturday Night Live, you normally see sketches with just the cast members in them.
Mm-hmm. Or sometimes a musical guest
will make an appearance. This sketch was written for me and Dad to be in. And in it, he takes out his feelings on my feelings about him having started dating again in a sketch he has titled Monster Daughter. Now, he has not told me he's upset that I have feelings about him dating again. So this is like his subconscious writing to me in a sketch again that he hopes they will air on national television, starring the 2 of us. And we'd like to read that scene for you today.
I will be playing sort of the narrator and setting the scene.
Because there are a lot of stage directions.
Oh, quite a few. More than in a play or a movie you would go to. Okay.
There's that.
Yeah, let's get costume.
Oh, and Dad will also be in drag.
Yes.
Sorry, Jamie.
Okay.
Yep.
So, the title, Monster Daughter. Purpose. The purpose of this sketch is to make Casey the funny person and Paul Wilson the straight man. Angle. Now, you usually don't get this with a lot of scripts. Angle. Casey is the monster daughter who discovers yet another woman has taken up with her widowed father, and she sets out to drive the woman off before her dad gets home. Costumes. Casey is dressed like an ultra-modern biker chick. Sure. Paul Wilson plays Paula.
Not Fred Armisen or Andy Samberg, but Paul Wilson.
He is dressed in drag, but more as a sweet librarian type, not an older vixen. Paul even wears a pretty hat that is fashionable by today's standards. Paula also wears a scarf draped around her neck. Open setting. Paula is seated demurely on the couch. She is holding a key, and there is a Scrabble board set up on the coffee table. On the back wall behind the couch is a painting. Casey comes in acting commanding and pissed off.
Casey, your father gave me a key. I hope you don't mind. I'm Paula, a friend of your father's.
What do you mean, friend? I'm not sure he needs one.
He's very lonely, sweetie. Your father and I love the company of each other. You know, he's quite a good Scrabble player.
What? He sucks. His idea of a big word is P-I-G, pig.
Well, I don't think he would agree. We'll ask him. He should be here any second.
What do you do, Paula? Are you,
Breaking into song.
Madam Librarian?
She pulls off Paula's neck scarf.
I'm more of a research, really, or I was before I got laid off.
Well, that's a coincidence because I want you laying off my dad.
What? Oh, Casey, that's our decision, honey. And besides, he's just such a sterling man. In fact, you remind me...
I knew it! I knew you were after the sterling silver.
I only
Wait,
meant...
that's mine! It's my silver and my mom's.
I only meant...
I know what you meant. Fill him up with wine, have him choke down the Viagra. Put La Vitra in the roast like it was garlic.
Leering forward, nose to nose.
Then use him for your bookworm pleasures.
No. We are a mature couple that respects each other.
Hey, he told me what you say to him at night.
No, he didn't, sweetie. He wouldn't.
Casey goes around the couch and takes the painting off the wall without Paula seeing her do it.
Well, this is gonna hurt a little, you boiled over bitch!
Casey crashes the painting down on Paula's head, crushing her hat, driving Paula to the floor. She leaps the couch and does a flying wrestling drop kick on Paula.
Ouch! Ouch! Not my breasts.
Paula,
You are a monster daughter. Keep the sterling silver.
Casey smiles contently, picks up her dog Duffy, and pets it with a satisfied smile like, there goes another one. Suddenly, Paul enters.
Casey, have you seen Paula?
Extreme close-up on Casey. She just shakes her head no and smiles with a satisfied look. The end. Wow.
They should have done it. They should have done
They
that.
should have done it. If only Freud could take a look at this piece of work. Wow.
Wow.
That was
Both
disturbing.
of you gave performances of a lifetime, I would say.
I wish maybe that someone will create a vehicle around Monster Soccer.
I'm already writing it up.
Now, Danielle, before I let you go to Dad, we want to just take 2 seconds for why we really have had you here in a great way, which is that my father has actually started an incredibly beautiful charity in my mom's name called the Kathy Wilson Foundation. And has worked tirelessly on it for over 10 years, and it is a charity that helps local children with special needs. And we have a lot of our supporters are in the audience tonight, and we've done as a fundraiser. And if you just want to take 2 seconds and just tell us what the foundation does.
The Kathy Wilson Foundation is unique. We help to find children with disabilities at the preschool level. And so we both find them at that level and then get them services or give grants to preschools who are just truly special, who take very challenging children and help them as they develop. My wife Marjorie's here and Natalie. from my office, and all the great supporters who came today to support the Kathy Wilson Foundation. Thank you.
Thank you. And if you have any more interest or would care to donate, it's kathywilsonfoundation.org.
Yeah.
Thank you. Paul Wilson.
Paul Wilson!
Wonderful.
Wow.
Come on up. Hi.
Hi. I don't really know how I'm going to follow that.
It's gonna be tough. It's quite all right.
So I also went to TC Williams.
Remember the Titans. Never forget them. Never forget them.
I was only a few years younger than you and really wanted to go to NYU. And so for Mr. Cannon's junior year college project, I actually interviewed you. Meg Allen is a good family friend, and so I interviewed you, and you helped me realize I did not want to go to NYU.
Was I being a monster daughter?
Yeah. So thank you for saving me a lot of money in debt and student loans. I really appreciate it.
I hope I didn't crush any dreams.
No dreams. I actually ended up going to UVA, which was a wonderful school.
Great.
And I was there like 4 months ago for a friend's wedding. And after the wedding, we were all drunk out at a popular pizza place. A lot of undergrads were there. It was crowded, was sitting at a table. Started talking to another girl, like, oh, what year are you? Oh my gosh, yeah, I graduated. Are you in a sorority? She was like, yeah, I'm in Tri-Delt, as is my friend Avery. And
I knew Avery was at UVA.
Yeah. Well, so I
Very
said,
good school for Avery.
Right, yeah. And so I said, oh, Avery, like Ramona's daughter? And it was. But she was so drunk, did not realize what I said. She was literally sitting there, I have a picture, literally sitting there picking the toppings off of the pizza to eat it, because no carbs, obviously.
Now, this is Avery or
this
her
is
friend?
Avery.
Okay.
No, this is Avery. So drunk, did not realize it. I have a picture of her. I was able to get...
I believe you. Oh. We should go to jail.
I know. Guys, I'm not
should.
proud of this. We've literally asked you for this, and then you deliver, and we're like, we're monsters.
Anyway, so Casey, thank you for steering me in the right direction.
I hope
to not go to
did.
NYU.
Away from the NYU and towards Avery Singer.
Towards Avery Singer. So
Thank you. Hi, sir.
Sir.
I am not a mill, so kneeling was very difficult for me.
I'm so sorry. I would never have kneeled.
I have two, and both of mine are embarrassing. Number
Will
one
you tip the
is-
mic up just a little
yes.
bit more to you?
I am Jim Marchese's cousin, who is the most hated housewife in all of history. He is as terrible as you would think he is. My whole family. We don't talk to him. My parents got the Christmas card with him and the Union Jacks and the guns and the Trump hats. Very embarrassing. Terrible. And my other is that...
So sorry for your loss.
3 years ago, I hooked up with Reza.
What? Wow. Wow.
You get this bag. It says, Bitch Sesh with Andy Cohen's phrase, touch it up.
Wow.
Wow.
I won't be that person that talks forever, but for those of you who are in DC, 3 years ago, I met Reza at Secrets nightclub, which is a gay strip club. It was the night of the Oscars, so no one was out, like no gays were out. We showed up.
The gay Super Bowl.
Yeah, gay Super Bowl. And I went up to him and I said, can I buy you a drink? I would love to buy you a drink. And he said, no, I'm good. 45 minutes later, when he realized that no one else in the entire club knew who he was or cared, he came back to me and said, I'll take that drink right now. Had the drink, went back to his hotel at the Four Seasons, and we had a little fun.
Wow. You are a man among men. And I love your hats.
Thank you.
Show everyone your hat says Sexy Unique Restaurant. You're adorable. Wow, that was quite.
Wow.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Wow, you're a hero. Guys, we're getting to the end of our show, but before we left, we wanted to do a scene as we are in the nation's capital from the Real Housewives of DC.
Potomac, but DC
And I know
was...
there's controversy over us not watching Potomac, but we had to draw a line. We had to draw it between Miami, Dallas, and Potomac. Right now, we cannot. We're
Yes.
not psychotic. We can't watch them all.
But DC was a gem that died too soon.
I think it died when it should have, but...
They gave us a character named Michelle Salahi. I will never forget.
Guys, I don't know if you remember, but Michelle had a problem that many of us have struggled with, which was trying to remember whether or not she was an NFL Redskins cheerleader. It's so hard to know. Were you or weren't you?
Sometimes you just don't know.
So for this scene, we are limited in our actors. We'll be bringing back my father.
And April Mouton will be helping us out.
This scene takes place, I believe, at the reunion.
Yes, this was the one and only DC reunion, one part.
Part one and done.
And this will, Paul will be playing the part of Andy Cohen. Casey will be playing the part of Michelle Salahi. April will be playing Mary and Stacy. Well, and I will be playing Kat, who was a British woman. And we titled the scene, The Cheers of a Clown. Andy grills Michelle Salahi during the DC reunion special. End scene.
Let's take a look back at the social whirlwind who never met a party she didn't like. Roll the tape.
Michelle's testimonial.
I'm a former Washington Redskins cheerleader for the NFL. I love being a cheerleader because for 5 minutes, you're out on the field in front of 90,000 fans. It's just amazing. Woo!
Back to scene.
Laura from Arizona wants to know, was Michelle ever a Washington Redskin cheerleader for the NFL? And there have been a lot of conflicting reports.
She never cheered. She wasn't a cheerleader.
She's a liar.
The Redskins in the 90s, well, no. In the 80s, I had worked with, and they came to me in the millennium.
You had cheered with them in the 80s.
Not as a full-time cheerleader. I was kind of. I went out on 1 or 2 games. I went out and fluffed it, and they did their promotional. They had a show called Redskins Sideline Report. And then in the millennium, Terry Lamb came to me and said, would you be interested in joining the alumni? And I said, no. Not really. To be honest, it would hurt me to join it because I would have to divulge my age. She said, if I made you 91, would you join the alumni? So for the last 7 or 8 years, I've been paying my dues, and I've been a part of it.
So Terry Lamb, who is in charge of the Redskins cheerleaders,
Still a good friend, yeah.
she says that you weren't a cheerleader in the 80s.
Right. Well, because, I'm on the roster.
Or the 90s?
So I don't know. I still have the roster.
But I mean, I read the Diamond book.
Yeah.
She, in all her research, has no record
Yeah,
of
she
it.
can't find her answer. Yeah, she can't find that I am, I'm not.
Your brother apparently said you were not a cheerleader.
Right, well, he didn't know.
The head of the Redskins cheerleading organization says you weren't a cheerleader.
Yeah, but I wasn't a cheerleader.
And you didn't have the roster. This roster?
I do have the roster.
Well, no, not in the book.
Well, the thing is, Terry and I have the roster.
She didn't have the roster.
But Diane interviewed Howie.
Hold on. But you just said to me...
Terry said no.
You just said to me that you weren't a cheerleader. That's what you just said.
Okay, no. I've gone out 2 times. I was never an NFL cheerleader out every week. I never said that.
So what is it so you hopped onto the field twice on the show? You said that you were a Redskins cheerleader.
Right, because that's what I've been told to say.
Kat, I told you.
So when they said...
Oh, it's a circle. It's a circle.
No,
The plot thickens.
It goes round and round.
Okay, was I a cheerleader? Yes. Did I go out 2 times? Yes. Does that constitute a cheerleader? I don't know.
Michelle begins to cry but doesn't seem to notice.
Why are you crying?
I don't know.
End scene. Wow,
What a night.
guys. Going way back.
To end our beautiful, beautiful night together.
And our tour, our East Coast tour.
Yes, this is it. April Mouton.
Wow.
Paul Wilson.
Casey Wilson.
Danielle Schneider. Thank you all so much for coming.
What an amazing way to end our East Coast tour.
Amazing. And I'm sad I didn't get those notes on the last song, but you know what? We're going to let it all go. Thank you guys so much for being here and supporting the podcast. It means so much to us. We've had so much fun. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Humans, this is Matt Besser from Improv for Humans. It's an improvised podcast where we do a special thing every once in a while we call the narrative experiment, where we actually choose characters for our improvisers. They keep the character throughout the episode, and we basically do a sitcom. Check it out. It's called Mopes. It stars John Gabris, Jess McKinnon, Eugene Cordero, three of my favorite improvisers. Check it out, Humans. Mopes on Improv for Humans.
This has been an Earwolf production, executive produced by Scott Aukerman, Chris Bannon, and Colin Anderson. For more information and content, visit earwolf.com.